And we're live.
Champion.
Evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hey. Evening. How are we doing? It's nice to see you all. So again, quick hello to Glenn.
Hello.
How you doing, Glenn?
Very well, thank you, sir.
We've got Graeme.
Hi.
Good. Great. We've got Carl, who's just sat in the top corner there.
Oh.
Nice and big quiet. And Christina, otherwise known as the teacher's pet. Oh, she's back. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. So tonight, tonight we thought we'd talk about a different topic of not your time, as the storyline suggests. Basically, we'd love to hear your comments as well, just to see and interact with us. But basically, the rough gist is, have anybody had any close encounters with the other side from this side? Hi, guys and gals.
Hiya.
Hi, Facebook user. There's only one Calvert. Yeah. Have anybody else had any close encounters? And basically, I will start off, and then we'll go round, and then you'll get the general gist of what we're talking about. That if you've ever had a near miss or anything like that, and you just think, that was lucky, that wasn't my time yet, we'd love to hear you, and we'll definitely interact with you. So I've had a couple of encounters, and Glenn has been joking with me to say that my guardian angel or my spirit guide would want their money back, and they think they've been sold a rough ticket with the amount of scrapes I've actually had. Now, one of the most recent ones I had was 2-3 years ago. We went on a cruise. Actually, 3 years now. Our time flies. We were all on a cruise in the Mediterranean. Hi, Christy.
Hiya.
How are you doing? Nice to see you. Yeah. So, we're on a Mediterranean cruise, and we stopped off at Barcelona for an overnighter. Lovely city. I don't know if anybody's been.
No, never been.
So we did the tour and did the walk round. No, it is a nice city actually. Strangely enough, it's full of miracles, because I've got one guy, and I do say this in jest. There's one bloke walked up where we were having a drink in the square. He's got his suit on, so he didn't know more than took his tie off, put his jacket round the corner, grabbed a Starbucks coffee cup, and then got on the floor as pretending to be a beggar. Seriously. Waited there, and those people actually gave him money. I can't believe this. He was there for begging for 5 minutes, got back up, put a tie on and his shirt, jacket, and then walked back to work.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was a miracle. Yeah. It was. So that was amazing, but it's not half as big as a miracle as what I saw in Rome that time. Outside St. Peter's Basilica, we're on the same holiday, strangely enough. There was a guy, he got no legs, just got a stump and a crutch, begging outside St. Peter's Basilica. And we didn't sort of like do anything. We got off the coach and went into the church, and we just stood outside waiting. And then, strangely enough, when no tourists were there, he actually got up. He got some false knee pads, got up, walked off with his crutch, and then we saw him later on trying to find him. So I think that was sensational how he managed to grow a pair of legs.
That reminds me of,
Literally,
is it coming?
and Mexico begging elsewhere.
That's like that
Sorry,
film, that's like that film Trading Places with Eddie Murphy
It is,
at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, I'll tell you, I know a little bit of lightheartedness there, and I sort of digress. But the key thing was, we've been to Barcelona, and then we've been talking to other people. So we set sail, and we're talking to another cruise line who come in the same day, and they said they were overnighting like us. They were from Halifax, actually, and we'd just been sat there having a drink on what's called La Ramblas, which is a famous street in Barcelona. It's like a tourist area where there's shops and bars and everything like that. Anyway, ship set sail. I'll go to the gym, believe it or not, because I do actually go to the gym. I know you'll be shocked with that figure I've got. So I'm just having a workout, getting ready for dinner, and it flashes on the television screen on the in the gym. News flash: terrorist alert in Moscow. And that is when the guy, I don't know if people can remember this, when the two guys drove a van down the Ramblas in Barcelona trying and kill quite a lot of people. So that ship was in, but we knew the people from Halifax. But on the photographs that morning, we were sat in that bar, and that's the one that got destroyed. Well, you can see up chairs all over everywhere. It was frightening.
I bet.
When you think about it. And that was incidentally the second of the two stories that really sticks out to me of we weren't meant to be there at that time. And ironically, do you class this spirit incident? I don't know, but what was interesting as well was the captain actually left Barcelona a bit earlier because he'd had a head on a radar about bad weather. So to get to the next port, we left Barcelona a little bit earlier.
Wow. Amazing.
Wow, that is
amazing.
So,
very lucky there.
Definitely spiritual intervention there.
And I know Glynn knows my other. Yeah, I know Glynn definitely knows about my last story that I'm going to tell. But that's one where it did sort of like shake me because we'd been literally been there that morning, sat there having a cup of tea. So that could have been us. If we'd been on that other ship, that we would have been in Barcelona at that time. So it was not my time.
It definitely was not your time.
Yeah, got things to do.
Not anybody else's time, exactly.
Come on, Glynn.
I was just going to say that begs the question, doesn't it? It wasn't your time. Yeah.
Definitely. What I've got about Graeme and Carl, you have any thoughts on that? Anything you'd like to add?
It definitely sounds like an intervention from the spirit realm. That helped you out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be a totally different story today.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it would if you look at the
times,
well, exactly.
If you're looking at the times and the locations and things like that, to say, if you'd have chose there to go a few minutes later, obviously it would have had a massive difference to what's happened now. So definitely say intervention there. It definitely wasn't your time.
It's kind of like the film Final Destination, isn't it? I know obviously a movie, it's not real, but it's like that in reverse, isn't it? It was a series of events that stopped you all getting hurt.
Yeah.
It was a series of events, a knock-on effect that stopped it being at the wrong place at the wrong time. So it was a kind of ahead of time, just to miss it. So it's sort of like it's divine intervention right there, and it's most finest, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Although time, well, just when I'm talking about it now, it just makes me realise how time quickly does go quickly. When I say it's 3 hours, like what?
Yeah.
Yeah. How it's gone quickly.
Oh yeah.
So.
Wow.
But yeah. But that's part one of my my story. So I'll finish off another one later on. But I tell you what we're going to do. We'll go clockwise then. So anyway, I know you go to Glenn if you wanted to share your story with us, and then we'll go around that way.
Yeah, of course, no problem. Well, mine goes back to when I was at college.
Okay.
I think I'd be about 17 years old, and it was just at the end of the first year there at college. And in that summer break, I went with one of my college friends. We went to New Quay on a holiday, and you know, we were boys, we'll be boys, and we was doing all that sort of stuff. But one of the things we did enjoy was going down to the beach, going in the sea, and having a swim there, you know. And on one particular occasion, we swam right out to sea, you know, and we thought, oh yeah, this was brilliant. This hasn't taken as long at all, you know, and we was right out, away from the beach and everything. Yeah. And then just out of the blue, from nowhere, we had this like wave after wave crashing down on us. And the minute you get up and recover from the wave, the first wave, another one had come lashing down on you. So you could only have like half a breath in between a wave hitting you. Yeah. And this kept happening and kept happening, and we kept going under the water, both of us, dragged right under. And all of a sudden, as quick as we knew it, we was back on the beach. And it was as if something had pulled us on that beach, because no sooner as we'd been underwater, that was it. We was back on the beach. And we was both there looking at one another, coughing our guts up, spluttering, and just like looking in amazement, like, how did we get back here? You know, it's like we were miles out. We was further than the coast, you know what I mean? And so something must have dragged us back to get back that quick. I mean, I know you're thinking, well, the waves are coming to the shore, but there's no way we'd have got back that fast just on the current of the waves there. No. And you know, I feel as though we both had a lucky escape there, because again, it could have been a different story. And you know, for the rest of the holiday, we was like talking about it. You know, whoa, how did that happen? That was just so weird, so random. And I've got chills as I'm talking about it now, back in my head. So I feel as though some divine force actually took us back to that beach. And you know, I wouldn't be here now if it hadn't have been for that. So whoever it was, whoever it is, thank you very much. Very grateful.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you for that, Glenn. That's brilliant. And
no problem.
Graham,
I've got a couple. I've got a couple. Okay. This one's not mine. It was a couple of years after. Obviously, we talked about 9/11, and it was an interview that was given on BBC One with Graeme Norton and Seth MacFarlane. Now, at the time of 9/11, Seth MacFarlane, who does Family Guy, American Dad, The Orville, and lots of others. Now, he was supposed to have been on one of those flights that crashed into one of the towers. But on the day of the flight, he just got the feeling that he didn't want to go. And he didn't go.
Yeah.
Oh.
This interview will be online somewhere, and obviously, if he went on, he wouldn't be here to do the rest.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, when you mentioned Seth, and with Seth MacFarlane, all I can think about, unfortunately for me, is Ted.
Yeah, I was going to.
I think that's warped my brain for life now.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never seen it. No.
Have you not?
Was it not warped before, Glynn?
Yeah. No, it wasn't. No.
He's a lovely teddy bear, is Ted.
I keep saying this is the
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's that kind of teddy bear, he is. The cheeky teddy bear. That's what I want. Cheeky teddy bear.
Yeah.
Now, one for me is I was a teenager, somewhere along there. I was riding a bike with one of my friends, and I had me feet in the foot caps of the racing bike, and you've got to strap them in so you don't come out. Now, I don't know if it was on my side or the driver's side, but obviously I was riding along one of the roads up here called Humber Hill, and I just came to a standstill and fell onto the road. And this big Ford Transit van was coming up behind us. And as I fell onto the road, this van behind us screeched and veered off the road, because otherwise it would have took my head off.
Wow.
That was lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just a bit.
Wow.
So
Incredible,
I don't know which side of the spirit on his side, but on my side, but I just literally fell. The bike just stopped, and I went over onto the roadside, and
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You're braver than me to wear those foot straps on the bike, racing bikes. Something that I've always been like that about,
Yeah, well.
No, I don't. I don't like my feet trapped either.
No.
That feeling of not being able to move your feet.
Yeah, but then we can move was the ride, it's the cycle, and obviously if your feet aren't strapped in and they come off and the pedal hits your shin.
Oh, you know about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that aside, I mean, was Spirit influencing that driver as well to move out the way?
Exactly. You know, I mean, I feel so that I've got a feeling that the Spirit was helping the driver to think, sugar, what's happening, and veered off. I heard the brake screech and the van go over.
It begs the question as well. Look at all these variables that are involved with all these incidences. All the divine timing has to be in place, doesn't it? People have to be inspired, be protected. And so it just shows you what's going off behind the scenes. It goes kind of beyond our limited imagination to understand it all. But there's certainly some guiding force there, isn't there?
I mean, this was all before I really got into spiritualism that happened.
Yeah.
Very, very. Like you say, there's something behind the scenes.
It's like the old saying, isn't it? It's not your time. Your time's up when your time's up. Yeah. And it just goes to prove with all the stories that are going to be told tonight, when your time's up, it's up, and if it's not, it's not going to be. It's just it's a nice, comforting, protective feeling, isn't it? Knowing that somewhere, sort of, even if you don't believe, you're going to get protection anyway. I suppose some people would believe if they're not spiritually connected, then they wouldn't be protected, but that isn't the case anyway, because everybody is. And it's just a wonderful thought to think that there's probably millions of people out there that have all got a story or a couple of stories, you know, and collectively, if we all shared those stories,
Yeah.
it would be one mass beautiful production of life being saved. And then it would put it all in perspective, really, because it doesn't get spoken about very much, does it, really? The bigger picture, like you were saying, Glenn, it's like a big backstage sort of production of life saving that nobody's aware of, that just carries on behind the scenes when we're unaware, and we're just getting on with our day-to-day life. It's an amazing thought, isn't it, really?
It is, definitely.
Yeah. So, I've just, if you don't mind, and I'm going to come to call in a minute, but I've just had a message come through on my phone of somebody who doesn't want to share his story on air. If that's all right with you, I'd like to sort of share it as what he's put.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, basically, he's and I do know this guy. He's a veteran of the Afghan War.
Bless him.
Okay. And he says, he just put out, he says that, so I mean, I'd thank him a lot for his service. And I've got to know him. And he's basically, people would say it's PTSD, but he had an experience in Afghan when he was trapped. He just wrote this to me tonight because he's watching. He's basically, what he said was they got ambushed when they're in Helmand and trapped in this building. He got explosions going off here, there, and everywhere, and some of his platoon did get killed. Now, he said people think it's madness, but he thought he was done for. He was trapped in this house, surrounded by Taliban, and basically he's just said that for some reason he just looked up. He sort of resigned himself to his fate, and he says he just looked up, and he said he'd seen his mum. He's just said, I'll tell you now, I saw my mum pointing to the right-hand side, and he just ran to the right-hand side, literally missed as a shell dropped all the rocks where he was hiding, and he managed to find his way out of this house and find some cover to get back to his platoon. He's never told his platoon this because they'd think he was mad. But he says, I swear to God, that was my mum pointing me on my way out.
That is
thanks for that, mate. I do appreciate you.
Amazing.
And it's very courageous of you as well, sharing that story and allowing Glynn to share
sharing that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Your mum did show you the way, and she kept you safe.
Yeah.
That was definitely intervention from your mum, looking after a little boy like she always would have done. And it doesn't really get much better than that, does it? Bless the soul. And bless you for having to live through that and obviously the after effects and everything. Bless you. Thank you for sharing that with us.
The fact that you saw your mum as well.
That, yeah. Generally, I mean, I know people think, but what's the strongest bond you've got? Who's the one you're going to trust the most? Your mum.
Yeah. And also, what energy that must have taken her to project herself to the point where he could physically see her, to know where she was pointing to as well. That must have took a tremendous amount of pure love to create that energy to be able to literally show herself in his physical eyes and to where she was pointing for him to go.
Yeah.
That was, major energy she would have needed there. That goes way beyond just channeling through into someone's mind, isn't it? That's the next stage.
Oh, definitely.
Absolute, categorically.
He's just said it took a lot out of him there, and he says he's never told anybody, but he sobbed his heart out that night.
Oh, I bet you did.
Bless you.
And I bet a good few nights since then as well, sweetheart.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Tremendously brave of you to share that with us. Yeah, very humbled by that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I
It can't be easy to share something like that.
No.
Or was it?
And
froze
do you know what? It wasn't his
froze.
time.
It definitely wasn't his time. Bless his heart.
No.
Yeah, me again. No.
Yeah, you keep freezing up, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Carl, have you? Right. Sorry. Carl, have you got any thoughts, mate, on that?
Yeah. Firstly, I want to say to him thank you for his service. My wife comes in the army. Anybody that puts their life on the line for Queen and country just gets my respect completely. We couldn't have the freedom that we've got without you guys, so thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Tremendously brave man there, and all ladies and men, all tremendously brave that do put their lives on the line for us every day. And it's the knock-on effect, isn't it? It's the aftermath of all that, and you know, I think it goes way beyond PTSD with something like that. I really, really do.
Christine's frozen.
Oh, I've frozen.
Yeah.
Have I frozen? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you, yeah.
Can you not see me?
Yeah.
It's gone screen.
I can.
Yeah, you're on screen.
Graeme.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. Was it just Graeme then that can't?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think,
to be fair, I think tonight, I think we seem to be just having one or two little issues with the screens freezing. So, but I think as long as we can hear each other, then that's fine. I think we can probably get through this one.
Of course we can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely we can.
Yeah.
Graeme's
Graham's disappeared. Yeah. But I think maximum respect. Sometimes when we think we've had a bad day, then it just depends on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we think we've had a bad day, what have they put themselves through?
Exactly.
What have they experienced?
Absolutely. What we go through and our little niggles are absolutely nothing in comparison to what a soldier will go through. You know, the tiniest aspect of their day is more dangerous than we can ever imagine, isn't it, really?
Every day they must have that sort of in the back of their mind. Is today the day? You know?
Exactly,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to be able to get up day after day and think, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, and get to still carry on, going and doing the job like everybody does, but obviously not everyone has that type of danger on a day-to-day basis. It's tremendously brave. It's like the most amazing thing anyone can ever do, and so selfless as well. So selfless, and also watching your friends possibly die right next to you in the most horrific ways. That must be something that's tremendously hard to live with as well. Sort of the aftermath of that alone, and what have you. I think way beyond PTSD. I don't think they're given enough credit. To be fair, I really, really don't, and enough help after they come out and they've got to adapt to a normal life again. I don't think they get enough help really for everything they've been through.
No, but with that story, what I liked about it as well, obviously it was his own mother that shown him the light, that shown him the way, and by also allowing her presence to be seen and felt by him, she was also giving him proof and evidence of the hereafter. Not only was she saving him, she was saying, look, I'm still alive. I'm still with you. I haven't left you.
Yeah.
And to witness that as well, not only is the actual act of that a miracle, and it wasn't your time, but it was a blessing as well, obviously, to see your own mum in the physical again.
Yeah.
That must have been so touching to the heart there.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Bless the soul.
I mean, I think, to be fair, I respect him completely for doing what he's done tonight. But I think sometimes maybe it would be fantastic if you could get him potentially to come on or just talk about stuff. I think it'd be fascinating. He
does, it would be fascinating
does,
to hear, definitely.
Yeah, he does believe, especially after that. He didn't
you
before
can't not
that.
believe after that, can you really?
No,
if his mum gave him proof then and there.
Yeah.
Because I think his army comrades wouldn't have believed him. But
bless him.
but no, I think it's a fantastic story. So thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
That is the best story. Absolutely amazing. Really is.
Yeah. So yeah, the other one I've got. So yeah, absolutely can't agree more with that.
Amazing. Yes, it definitely is, Kirsty. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So, Carl, have you got anything to share with us, mate?
Yeah, I've got one cheating death story actually.
Okay.
3 years ago. 3 years ago, me and my wife went up to Manchester. I was doing a bit of filming up there. So set off early morning, had some breakfast at Sheffield Services, and every 20-30 minutes our son would ring us up just making sure he's okay. Can you let us know where you are, Mum and Dad? Yeah, that's fine. And he said he was just really, really worried for some reason. He just told us, I'm really worried. And thought nothing of it, carried on driving. And then 10 miles outside of Manchester, on the motorway, a lorry comes up behind us, hits the car, pushes us, spins us around on the left lane. The lorry then hits the side of the car, so it hits the passenger door where my wife sat, pushing us down the motorway. It then spins us, so we're talking, full speed here. We're talking 70, 80 mile an hour. It wasn't limited at all.
Yeah.
So as it hit the side of the door, I held my wife's hand, told her I loved her because we thought that was it. Pushed us straight off at the side, and so someone was looking over us that day because we was injured with like whiplash and back damage and bruising, but there was nothing major. And a member of the public stopped and he was expecting a fatality because the car was absolutely smashed to pieces.
Wow.
I firmly believe it was my friend who'd passed 6 months before looking out on me that day. Whether it was or it wasn't, is here or there. But we cheated death that day. That day will always with me. I held her hand and told her I loved her because I thought that was it. And but that was kind of my cheating death story, really. But the fact is, my son thought something was strange, and he just wanted to keep so often.
Yeah.
And then half an hour later, we get smashed to pieces on the motorway.
Okay.
Wow, that's incredible. That is.
It is. Oh my goodness.
Do you still without?
I hate motorways. I'm scared of driving on the motorways. I do it when I need to, but I try and avoid motorways. And I haven't been up to Manchester since that incident because I can't bring myself to go back over there.
Yeah, I bet you can't. Wow.
It's going to leave that with you, isn't it? Obviously.
Oh, of course.
And so, did you say that the car was an absolute write-off as well in the accident?
The car was smashed to pieces because the lorry hit us from behind, at the side, at the front, and then span us around all at high speed. It actually pushed us all the way down the motorway on the side.
Wow. So was you cut out of the vehicle as well, both of you?
No. I just kind of kicked the doors open to get us out. So we could just literally get out.
Oh, God. Because your car could have easily have actually gone up as well, couldn't it? With the impact and the force and the fuel tank, it could have just blown at any time. So it's almost like the fact you could actually kick the doors open. That must have tremendous strength, because if they've been crushed in impact into the actual structure of the car, how on earth you managed to do that, I'll never know. Because generally people have to be cut out, don't they? when they have a crash of
yeah.
that manner. So the fact that you could get out, almost I feel like you were helped in that manner as well, because many have not been able to do that over the years, and that's why obviously they're cut out generally, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, so we had a lot of whiplash. We had to have a lot of acupuncture and things like that to help us over the months. But I've never been up to Manchester since, or I'm not stretching the motorway because I can't face it.
Wow. And I find it fascinating how your son was ringing you. He just felt something different.
He knew, didn't he? He knew.
Yeah, there was some connection to you. That's tremendous as well.
That is amazing, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And
it was a foreign lorry as well. It didn't have any speed limiters on, so it could go the speed it wanted.
Oh, crikey.
Right.
And it was a full load as well.
Oh, it doesn't bear thinking about, really, does it? What could have happened? You know, you were so incredibly lucky.
Very lucky.
To still be here to tell the tale, really.
It's very... Yeah. It's a very exposed road as well up there.
Yeah.
And you could quite easily...
I know exactly the road you're on about.
You could have been hit quite easily as well with multiple vehicles. If you were spinning, you were going to cross both kind of lanes as well, all the lanes really. So you could have quite easily been hit multiple times by different vehicles. So every way you look at it, it's undeniable how amazingly lucky you were that day to be here. You were,
I mean, we don't remember a lot about it. All we remember is literally looking out the passenger window, so to speak, and the lorry's actually pushing us sideways down the motorway.
Oh my goodness, that fear that must have come over you there and then, to think that's it, my time's up, to actually kiss your wife and kiss her hand and say you love her, sort of thing. That is, how that must have felt. Oh my goodness, you can't really imagine it, can you? At that point.
No. Obviously, after that incident as well, I bet that's brought you and your wife even more closer, and you sort of like treasure every little moment that you share together.
Absolutely.
So, and life can be gone in an instant. I think we all know that now.
Makes you appreciate what you've got, isn't it? It's true of all of us. We all should live. We should all live with open hearts and do what makes us happy and inspire us, because you never know. We don't know. Them up there know when our last day is, but we don't, which is why we've got to make every day count and thank our blessings every day and love the people that we love and love us every day, because you never know. Tomorrow isn't promised necessarily to anybody, is it? But this show in itself is showing that a lot of our tomorrows that we've all had since were obviously promised to us, because we're all still here and we've all got our individual stories. So it's amazing, really.
Yeah. Graeme, what do you think to that one, mate? Graeme?
Sorry, I didn't went.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear anything. Didn't hear a thing.
You didn't hear anything.
Let us go again.
I'll do.
Yeah. So.
You're back in the room.
Okay, yeah.
No,
shall we skip over that part there?
Yeah.
Okay, mate. We'll pretend that bit didn't happen. So I think we got away with that. Nobody noticed anything, so don't worry about it.
Could have before it goes out.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's just. I've never been on that. I've never driven to Manchester, so I don't know what that bit of road's like. Right. Obviously, someone's looking after you. Like Christina says, your car could have turned around. It could have gone over the crash barrier. It could have gone across the central reservation. So someone is looking out for you. I mean, while you were talking about it, I got the name Abraham. I don't know if that's some of a spirit guide or an angel, but that's the name I got.
There is what do you call it? There is a program, spiritual program called Abraham Hicks, and they do a lot of manifesting work. And Abraham is the name of the collective of they're like an ET race, if you like.
All right.
And the lady, Esther Hicks, she channels this collective who like to be known as Abraham. So maybe you're connecting with that collective called Abraham, and that's why the name was given to you. And maybe as a collective there, it took that grand force of the collective to stop that incident. They're almost like extraterrestrial but angelic beings,
right?
From my understanding of listening to some of the teachings of Abraham. But yeah, so I think you're onto something with that there, Graeme. So yeah, well done.
Amazing.
Well done.
That's amazing, Graeme.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's pretty great stuff, that.
I'm going to come on to Christina in a minute. I've just thought I'd share one about my sister. A lucky escape my sister had.
Okay.
Strangely enough. Yeah, and this was basically just after we lost my dad. And I took my car at 4x4 at the time. That was being mended at the garage. And Louise said, I'll pick it up for you. And, bring it back to her house, which was fine. But it was slightly icy on this bend in our village. And basically what happened was, this was in the December, as my dad had died in the October. And Louise was very close. I could tell you another story, what she said later on, but that's for a different night. About an encounter she had with my dad about a week after he died. But basically, the favourite song that my dad used to sing to Louise was actually on the radio in the car.
Wow.
And she was singing around it. It gets better than this, mate. And it just happened to be on the car. And she skidded on the ice on the bend. It lifted the whole thing, and she smashed through the actual fence, going down to in the field towards the river. And basically, at that point, she was eight months pregnant.
Wow.
And unbeknownst to us, when we got down there, how the hell it didn't happen, I don't know. Because there was some branches that you would have never known that was wrapped around the fuel tank. And that stopped it from going into the river.
Wow.
Bloody hell.
Wow.
Impressive.
I was very, very lucky. Very lucky.
Yeah. And then in January, they were born.
Oh. So your dad was obviously protecting not only his daughter, but his grandson as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is absolutely and utterly amazing.
It's I think my mum threw up Christmas cards away in bin. She was going to say, that's it. Well, we're not doing Christmas this year. And then took her to hospital. And then everything everything seems to be all right. God knows how or where them branches came from and stopped that car going into the river.
So your sister had no injuries whatsoever, just like she was shaken up.
She just had a bruised arm.
Bloody hell.
That's very lucky.
Absolutely fine. It is, especially because 8 months pregnant, your belly's absolutely quite huge by this point, and it would be very much near the steering wheel. So the fact there was no impact at all, and it didn't actually impact the stomach, because even the force of the car stopping in itself, you would think automatically a tummy would have bounced into the steering wheel with it being so big, because she was so heavily pregnant. That in itself, for your nephew to be fine, even, from before he was born, that's something magical right there. Some intervention from your dad for sure. Bless him.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
So I just thought I've just remembered that as we've been talking, so I thought I'd actually share that with you.
That's lovely.
It's just like really what, and it just happened to be as she was going around the corner, the song that them two used to share and sing together.
Oh,
I don't know. He's again, was that him saying that he's with her?
Absolutely.
I would say so. Yeah.
Absolutely, definitely. Absolutely.
But no, yeah. So sort of share that. So Christina, or teacher's pet, as you now know.
Sign the report card.
Yeah. Do you want to share? You said you got a couple of stories, didn't you?
I have, yeah. One's me and one's somebody else. My story. Going back a few years now. It was when my son, who's now nearly 15, he was a baby. He was about sort of 18 months old, and I had my oldest daughter, and I also had my next daughter as well. And quite often in the evening times, it was when I was married, so back in the day, we used to often go out in the car and take my son in the car to get him to sleep because he didn't sleep very well. So obviously, I was in the front, the 3 kids in the back. Excuse me, I've got a tickle, but I don't think it's my tickle, it's somebody else's. Definitely spirit justice, it's not me. And basically, so we went out for a drive this one night, like we did most nights, to get Ethan to sleep. And we went to different places, and this one night he says, we'll drive up towards Home Pier Point, which is the National Water Sports Centre in Nottinghamshire. And I said, all right then. So we drove up, and it was locked up. It was about 10:30 at night. Obviously, we weren't meant to be in there. And he was like, shall we just drive in and just have a quick wander? So I said, all right then. So he said, I better turn my headlights off because we're not meant to be in here because it's closed and there'll be security cameras. So we turned his headlights off. So basically, there was no lights at all around us. It was complete pitch black, no lights at all, no headlights, nothing. And we're just driving around Home Pier Point. And then I said, we should probably get out of here because we're not meant to be in here. And he was like, I'll just turn the car around and we'll go back. And then we were just driving towards this car park. So we thought a car park. And he was driving quite a decent speed as well. And all of a sudden I said, stop and put your headlights on. And he put his headlights on and I saw the shimmer of the water. He was about to drive us straight into the lake, thinking it was a car park.
Whoa.
And if I'd not said stop, put your headlights on, and saw the ripple of the water, we'd have all been dead because, we was all strapped in, massive lake, pitch black. So that would have been myself, my 2 daughters, and my son, and obviously my ex-husband was gone because he literally, I'll just pull in this car park and do a 3-point turn to get out, and he was just going straight forward, and it was just by pure chance. I thought, stop. I said, put your lights on. And he did. And then I just saw the ripple of the water. And I went, you were just about to drive us into the lake. And it was just like,
wow.
Crazy.
It seems to me like it wasn't pure chance at all. Somebody was talking to you, communicating with you and putting that thought in your mind.
Yeah, probably, yeah. At the time, though, when Ethan was little, obviously I've always had my gifts. I've had them since birth. But at that particular time, I wasn't using them full force because obviously I was very busy with the kids and everything else.
Of course.
So I wasn't as completely on it as I am now or have been in the past 10 years. So it was kind of, obviously I could still sense it, but at the time I didn't recognise that I was being told that. I just thought, no, wait, stop, put your lights on. So even though I wasn't actually aware,
I'm okay, mate.
I'm fine, that I know of.
I am.
I'm fine. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I think Graham's frozen again.
I think it's Graham that's frozen again.
It's sat very still.
There it go.
It's either that or we're having a competition of musical statues.
Yeah.
Do I win? Hang on. Is that my best side? Or is it that one?
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
Hiya,
Megan.
Megan.
Megan, hiya, love. You all right?
Yeah.
Hope you well.
Have a rewatch,
thank
Megan. You'll be in for a laugh, I'll tell you at some point. Have a rewatch. But glad to see you.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you. I've got a right cough for somebody. It's not mine. But yeah, that's the story. Well. Yeah, I have. Yeah, that's my personal story. This one, I'm about to tell, it's actually very recent. It's not me. It's someone my daughter knows, and it's happened in the last week. It's very current to what's happened in the news recently. One of my daughter's friends was actually meant to go out on a night out to Birmingham a few days ago, and she was up for it. They'd booked the hotel and everything to stay. They'd already planned where they was going, and she turned round to my daughter after the effect and basically told her that the night she was meant to go, she felt very, very, very ill. So ill she knew she couldn't go. So she told her friends of the group and said, I can't go because I feel so very ill. I can't possibly go. And because of that, none of the girls went either. And that night that they was meant to be there, and the club that was meant to be going to in Birmingham a few days ago, the man went on a rampage, didn't he, stabbing people. It's been on the news recently. And that's where they was all meant to be. Yeah, that's where they was all meant to be going. And if it wasn't for my daughter's friend saying, I'm sorry, I can't go, I feel so ill, I can't move, and then the friends decided not to go either, they all would have been there, and they all possibly could have either been killed or critical, just like, you know, the ones on the news that are, a couple have died, haven't they, and the rest all in critical state. Yeah, and that's absolutely amazing.
It is very amazing, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Just out of curiosity, your daughter's friend all right now? Is she feeling better?
Oh yeah, absolutely fine. In fact, she went out with my daughter a couple of nights ago. They actually went out and was talking about it. Yeah, she's absolutely fine.
I'm wondering if this illness that she had at the time was like enforced to have a chain reaction with everybody else. Yeah. Like a 24-hour bug type of thing. You know, it's quite interesting.
The thing is, if it wasn't for her not going, everyone else would have gone. So and even if she hadn't have gone, the friends would have gone. Someone in that friendship group could possibly have lost their life, or at least been in critical condition now, because where they was meant to be going was the club where it happened. On that night.
The actual club.
Yeah, it was the actual club they were meant to be going to.
Someone is definitely looking out for them up there, aren't
they? Absolutely. Yeah. And it was crazy because absolutely, because she felt fine afterwards. In fact, she even said to my daughter that the evening that she was meant to be there, after she said she wasn't going early on in the afternoon, she felt fine. And by the next day, fine and dandy. It literally lifted the evening they should have been there. So it was almost like it came on fast. She said she could hardly move. She felt that ill, she could hardly move. And from that to suddenly, she felt fine in the evening. And obviously she went out with my daughter a couple of days later, drinking away. So crazy, isn't it?
Wasn't meant for them.
Yeah, exactly. No. Wasn't their time to go. And unfortunately, as we know from the news, you know, there has been, you know, quite a few critical, you know, injuries where people might still lose their life. And obviously, you know, we know of at least one that definitely has. And, you know, they had such a near miss because they would have been in the exact same place at that same time. A group of young girls would probably have been one of the targets.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. Graeme, what do you think, mate?
Something's obviously someone spiritual is connected to your friend. Obviously, she doesn't know about it because obviously whether she believes in spiritualism or not.
She is quite spiritual, to be fair. She's quite spiritual, but
then
it was a physical illness that stopped her.
Yeah, but that could have been brought on by the spiritual world to say you're not going.
Oh yeah.
You know, with her not going, then her other friend says I'm not going either. So then they all didn't go.
So they're all safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So with that one person being ill, which is possibly brought on by spirit, then everyone else hasn't gone.
Absolutely.
So everyone's safe because of that one person. Well, two people because the one didn't go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's an intervention right there as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps this person in the beginning before she was there was like thinking, shall I or shall I go? And she was still determined to go, and someone says, no, you're not going.
You're not going, so I'll make you feel so ill you can't.
We'll stop you.
Possibly. We'll stop because they do that, don't they? They do. They'll.
Yeah.
If you're in two minds about something, they can like, bam, you're not going. Something will happen, so you can't.
Yeah.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Really, they really do. They do help us, whether we believe or whether we don't.
Well, they do.
They all help. They help us, regardless. They do.
Whether people believe in spirits or not,
it's true.
Will force something on you to say, right, you're not doing it. You know.
I don't believe there's a person in this world that hasn't had a near miss. Not one. I think we've all had at least 5 different near misses during our lifetime. Where we could have gone and we were stopped from going because it wasn't our time to go.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think some of those moments as well, we're probably not aware of because we're all in our, like, we've got our blinkers on, we're all busy, we're doing our thing, and we could have just like avoided a near miss without even knowing. You know, so it could have happened in any way whatsoever. So it just shows you that we need to live more in the present moment and, you know, be grateful for every second of that, you know.
And I think we've all gone to cross the road at some point in our life and we just thought, I won't. And you go back, don't you? And then the car zooms. It happened to me about 3 o'clock in the morning. Years ago, I was coming back to my friend's house and we'd both been drinking. I had 3% on my phone. I didn't know the way from my house because I'd only ever been there in her car, and she lived in a little rabbit warren place. But I thought she'd passed out on the sofa because she'd had too much vodka, and I thought I'll just walk home. And literally, I thought I don't know the way out, but I was guided to where I needed to go to get out onto the main road, which I didn't know. And then I was just about to cross this road at one point, and something told me, "Don't cross yet. Stay on this side." And so I carried on walking on the same side instead of crossing over like I was going to. And a car came out of nowhere, about 70 miles an hour down the street, and it would have hit me. And just because I listened to that inner voice saying, "Stay on this side." And the funny thing was, my phone, I left her house, and it took about half an hour to walk home. At 3%, I managed to walk all the way home, get in my house, text her to let her know when she woke up that I was home safe before my phone died, and that never happens, does it? It was always like I was guided home and my phone was kept on as well. It was remarkable.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
That's all right.
I mean, it's like one time. Sorry. It's like one time I've mentioned it before when I was coming from somewhere near here back home, and I was told to turn off. But for some reason I didn't turn off. I kept going on the same road, and I says, "Oh no, you'll be fine." And I kept going, but I kept wanting to turn off. And then going on this road, I was told go in the outside lane or the inside lane, and I was just, I've got to go on this lane. So I went all on the outside lane all the way up to the top, and at the top there was that accident.
Oh.
Wow.
You know, all the cars piling up, but I was told not to go on that road. I was told to turn off and then go on the outside lane.
Wow.
Very lucky.
Very lucky.
I mean, I was itching to turn off.
Well.
Yeah. Wow. I know we're still going to overrun a little bit, but I just think I'd like to share this other story with you. And I know Glynn knows it, don't you, mate?
Oh, definitely. It's very on point with the date and everything, isn't it?
Yeah, and relevant, and certainly relevant as well to what Graeme said earlier on. Now, I think the luckiest escape I've ever had in my life. Graeme mentioned 9/11, Seth MacFarlane not taking the flight.
Yeah.
Now, the luckiest escape I had, myself and Mum were in New York, and we were actually both in the Twin Towers. We went to the Windows of the World. Guess back, Christina. We went in the Windows of the World restaurant on the top floor. Both of us just looked up, too high, and actually went down. And we exchanged some traveller's checks on the 10th floor at the American Express building because we wanted to do some shopping, last minute shopping in New York. We then went to the toilet, and ironically, my mum came out and she says, I panicked in the toilets there because I genuinely thought, what would I do if the fire alarms went off? Where would I escape? And we then went, did a bit of shopping, went to the airport. And when was that? That was on 8/11. That was on the 10th of September. We flew out of JFK. We landed back at Heathrow, and the towers are gone.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Ooh, sugar.
Yeah.
That is one lucky escape.
And do you know what's amazing about that as well? Your mum obviously went to the bathroom and thought, what would I do if the alarms went off? Where would I go? Yes. It was almost like she had some foresight that she knew that something big was coming and people would be trapped in the bathroom, which they probably were when it all kicked off, unfortunately for them.
Yeah.
So, you know, your mum's definitely got some insight, hasn't she? She must have to have that intense feeling. And crikey.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a story and a half, that is.
Yeah. Genuinely, that's the most luckiest escape we've ever had. And I've got a photograph of it on there. I've still got some original photos. I've still got a photograph of where it's tucked inside the Twin Towers. Strangely enough. So I let go on.
So you know when you landed in the UK and you heard the news, what was yours and your mum's initial reaction to that?
None. Like,
I can imagine.
Like everybody, to be fair, I think you said,
"Yeah,
you're joking."
That could have been us.
A day earlier, if they'd have took over.
Yeah.
When you think about it, we were 110 flights up.
You'd have ended up at the bottom the quick way, wouldn't you? Bless you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It doesn't bear thinking about, does it?
It was just. It wasn't my time. Sorry,
it's like while you were visiting there, those people were thinking about doing that, and it's like.
Yeah.
You can't comprehend what those were thinking about doing the day after.
No.
While you were visiting the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we've actually been back since to see Ground Zero. I
bet it gives you the absolute chills, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, yeah. It does, because I can remember walking in them. I just think. No, again, it wasn't my time, but it was 2,977 souls time that day.
I can remember that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember. It was an awful day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So actually visiting the site, actually visiting the site when you went after the event. With you being a sensitive and a medium yourself, I bet that was unbearable to stand in the presence of that energy, wasn't it?
I didn't actually open up. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
You'd have cried and cried, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
didn't. It would have just taken over you.
Overwhelmingly sad. No, that'd be too much.
But it's just something, and it took me 11 years to do that, to go back to New York after that. But it was something I felt I wanted to do, or I had to do.
You had to do that.
Yeah.
To actually go back there. And I often wondered whether the people that served us in that American Express building were safe. There's no way of me knowing.
It's like Carl not going on that road to Manchester at some point.
Yeah. Oh, bless you. Okay.
Oh, Kirsty, thank you. Kirsty, but thank you for sharing your stories. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
You're nice to know people are looking after us. They are looking after us, Kirsty, all the time.
Yeah.
Bless you. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, I do appreciate that, Christy.
Christy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christy.
Sorry, I know. Sorry, it's Christy, not Kirsty. I'm so sorry. Apparently, I need reading glasses.
I'm going to mind check tomorrow.
But, I mean, I know we like to end this on a laugh and because we also know this show would be nasty, but I don't think today is probably the right time. I think the right way to end this show is say thank you to everybody for tuning in. And I think tonight, responding to what Carl said as well, I think you savour every moment you've got during this life and this opportunity. And tonight, you do go to your loved ones, give them a hug, tell them you love them.
Absolutely.
I will see you next week. Take care. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Have a lovely week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.